What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today we're getting ready to talk about a story that at first I wasn't about to touch with a 10-foot pole. But there's been some new developments in this story that have inspired me in such a way that I'm getting ready to touch all over this story. Touch it like Cherry probably touched my Junies while I was asleep in prison. And unfortunately, that is probably true. There was a crazy guy who slept 2 bunks down from me. And one day he was talking about, yeah, I touched that white boy Junies. I touched all over them while he was asleep.
It's still chilly. It's still chilly, baby. You understand what I'm saying? It's still chilly.
I was the only white boy within a 10-foot proximity of this crazy guy. But that has nothing to do with this video, and what this video is actually about is this major national news story, this entire college cheating parent scandal taking place right now, where these actresses and fashion designer parents and other successful parents as well have been charged with paying their children's way into these super elite and really nice colleges. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw out my opinion on this story right now. Who cares? Don't we got bigger things to be worrying about right now? And people are acting like this is something new that hasn't been going on probably forever. In fact, let me give you guys a little bit of background. I just recently wrapped up the entire 6th season Sopranos. Over 80-something episodes. And when Tony Soprano's daughter, Meadow, was getting ready to be going off to college and she was trying to get into college, Tony Soprano's wife, Camille, was telling Tony, hey, you need to make a financial contribution to these schools so that Meadow can get in. Why all of a sudden now is this news? And why all of a sudden are we acting like we're surprised by this? Why are people mad? And how did these people end up federally charged with this? I mean, we hear about this type of stuff happening all the time in college sports. You act like they ain't paying players to go to certain schools. I'm not going to throw any schools out there. There's already been schools who have been accused of this. And I'm trying to think, in those situations right there, when you're paying for athletes to go to a college, does anybody end up with federal charges in those situations? That's going to make you wonder. And you know, I'll be damned if I sit here and act like I understand why people are mad about this, because I personally don't. Why would you be mad about this? Because you can't afford to do it yourself? Ask yourself this: if you could afford to do it, would you? And I know there's some people who are probably gonna say, but Joe, what about the kids who study hard and work hard and who come from nothing just to try to get to these schools? These privileged kids are taking up the seats in the classroom, whereas a kid who came from nothing could be sitting in that seat. I'm quite sure there's still room enough inside them lecture halls. And in fact, I've never even been to college, but what I've seen from Google Images, when I search college classrooms, then things look pretty big. You know what I relate all of this to? Is to a greedy, envious, snitch type prisoner who sees the prison poker table taking place over there. Damn, look at all them tuna fish pouches on that poker table. Man, I wish I could play poker. I ain't got $5 to buy into the game though. Tired of seeing these dudes gamble and live lavishly up here in prison. Hey God, can I holler at you real quick? Tekashi 6ix9ine, yeah. God, listen to me. They got a prison poker game taking place over there. You need to go bust that. Go bust that, God, do your job. You've got one job. And that's to take information from me, a prison snitch, and go bust the things that I tell you about. Hey, can I get an extra hot dog tray though? And again, I hope I haven't offended too many people with my personal opinion on this situation. I would have never even gave that to you if I didn't have a better reason for bringing this topic up in this video, because this ain't even it. Forget this whole college admission scandal thing altogether. Well, not entirely altogether. We're gonna focus on one particular little key part. Because you know, the headlines is only part of the story. The real story is down in the details. You gotta read between the lines. That's what we're getting ready to do. Now folks, if you're anything like me and see this story pop up on the news and immediately go to Netflix so you can watch something better because you're like, who cares about this? You may not have too much insight into this situation. As did I, at least until this morning when I researched this further. Now, this entire story seems to be focusing on about only 4 key players right now. A wife and her husband, an actress by the name of Lori Loughlin, and her fashion designer husband, Massimo Giannoli. And these two are accused of paying $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into USC. There's also another actress involved in this by the name of Felicity Hoffman, who paid $15,000 to get her daughter's SAT scores corrected. There's also a guy by the name of Rick Singer who's been labeled as the mastermind behind all of this, but he's not the 4th person I want to tell you about. You've got these 3 high-profile parents who are being absolutely crucified in the media. They're not the only ones who are being charged in this. There's also 15 other parents that we really ain't hearing too much about. But the fourth person who I feel is so important to all of this is this guy by the name of Rudy Meredith, a Yale soccer coach, who accepted more than $860,000 in bribes from parents to get their kids into Yale. Well, the reason this Rudy Meredith guy is so important to this story is because $860,000 wasn't enough for this guy. And in fact, it was last year when he sought out a deal on his own, asking a wealthy father for $450,000. And I'll be damned if old Rudy Meredith, he just got the worst luck in the world. Because this wealthy father that he went after asking for $450,000 was already under investigation by the feds. So of course, this wealthy father immediately went and told the FBI, hey, look, check this out. I got this Yale soccer coach. He's trying to get $450,000 out of me right now. Extortion. Can I get an extra hot dog tray? And I'm guessing as soon as the feds got their hands on old Rudy Meredith, boy, he just let the entire stack of dominoes fall right after that. Boy, it ain't just me. It ain't just me. You better go get all these other people as well. Tekashi, 6ix9ine, an extra hot dog tray. Rudy Meredith exposed the whole damn thing. Now, folks, like I said, I was inspired in such a way to want to address this story and forget how much time I think these people are getting. I don't even know what they're really charged with. They're accused of cheating? I don't know. I know that a lot of the parents are considering plea deals in the feds. You better take a plea. They got like a 99% conviction rate. You better take a plea. And in that plea deal, maybe they do end up going to prison, and I just think that's the craziest thing in the world. But there's a good possibility they could end up with probation, some hefty fines. But again, the reason I was so inspired to address this story is because just this morning there was a story that broke, talking about how some of the parents wrapped up in this scandal have now hired for themselves their very own prison consultant to prepare them for the possibility of prison. What? Folks, we are not talking about the Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart movie Get Hard. This is real life right here. Do you know that there are actually prison consulting firms? I mean, I've known about this. I've known about this for quite some time, but maybe this is something that you don't know. There are actually folks, and I know a few of them, who you can hire, and they're going to prepare you for prison. Now, when I first ran across this information about these parents hiring this prison consultant, I had to learn more. I had to. And what I learned was that a prison consulting firm is going to charge you anywhere between $1,000 to God only knows how many more tens of thousands of dollars to prepare you for the time that you might have to serve. And the prison consultant that these parents hired is definitely a pretty popular prison consultant among that genre. A guy by the name of Justin Paperney, who is a former stockbroker who served prison time for fraud. This guy actually served almost 400 days. Probably something like, 13 months? Guaranteed this dude only served his time at the sweetest of the sweet cupcake type federal prisons that there are. And it's this Justin Paperney who, I guess, runs this really successful prison consulting firm. And as the story reports, says that he only takes on the wealthiest clients. Who says that these parents are coming to him scared and are asking questions like, can I survive prison? Am I cut out for prison? And you know, the one thing that I ask myself is, why you ain't just search on YouTube? Something along them lines. I'm quite sure you can find a video or 10,000 on that subject right there. Now, folks, it may seem like I'm salty bringing this up. Oh, Joe's mad because the prison consultant firm is getting the action and After Prison Show. That is not the case at all. More power to your hustle. You know, if you can go to prison and then come home and do something successful, I ain't got nothing but respect for that. But you know, all of this just really makes me wonder. Maybe After Prison Show should start our own prison consulting services. And folks, I want to share the name of this company with you. I really want your opinion on this. You know, I feel like if somebody searched in, I need a good prison consultant. My God, I am facing time at a cupcake camp. I need a good prison consulting firm. Let me just search. Oh my God. That name alone is the company I should go with. Folks, the idea I have for the name of this company, and bear in mind, we just failed with a cleaning service. Maybe this could be our next venture. I don't want to name this After Prison Show Prison Consulting LLC. And mind you, a lot of these prison consultant firms are LLCs, limited liability corporation, meaning you ain't gonna be able to sue them directly when that information you give them possibly doesn't do nothing for them. You're gonna only be able to sue that company and that company bank account ain't but $10. I don't know what happened to that $10,000 or however much they charge. Folks, the idea that I have for the After Prison Show Prison Consulting firm is you can suck eggplant. Can't you? We had to use something family friendly for YouTube, but you know what I want to put there. Have a nice little eggplant emoji. That is an eggplant, right? That's not a squash or a zucchini. You can suck eggplant, can't you? Prison Consulting LLC. That's sure to get the attention of anybody seeking out a prison consultant. The prison consultant in this story, this Justin Paperny, says that he is helping these folks confront their denial while answering their basic questions about prison life, including what it's like, what will my job be, can my family visit, is there email, is there internet? You trying to tell me there ain't no Wi-Fi in prison? Barbara, get the checkbook! What else they ain't got? How much they paying you for this basic information that I'm guaranteeing you can find from a Google search? Matter of fact, I promise you, YouTube is flooded with content on it. I will give it to you for free. Not if I start this business though. If I start this business, I'm gonna need at least 10 ramen noodle soups or $10,000. You pick. Now folks, I know I'm making a lot of crazy jokes about prison consulting firms, and I'm not trying to really bash any of the, I'm not. And in fact, I think the jokes that I'm making aren't even that strong in this video. Trust me. The Bobo was much more lit on this topic. Read between the lines, find that. But in the defense of these prison consulting firms, I know that they definitely have information about certain programs that are offered in the federal system. And they will help you, do certain things like show empathy and remorse. And also give you some pointers on potentially how you should talk during your sentencing in such a way that maybe you could find compassion from the judge, which I don't really know that there's such a thing as compassion from a federal judge with that 99.9% conviction rate or whatever it is. It seems like a lot of these prison consulting firms are gonna, teach you about certain programs and, kind of give you the behind the scenes of the ropes, things you need to know when you get to prison. Now imagine this, peep game here. After Prison Show's consulting firm. You can suck eggplant, can't you? Prison Consulting LLC. Hey Tom, how you doing? Joe Guerrero here, prison specialist. I'm gonna be your prison consultant for the next 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes of my time. What is prison like and what you should do on your first day? Tom, listen to me. I think the best thing for you to do is just go in there, punch the biggest guy that you see in his face immediately. I saw it in a movie. I'm quite sure that probably will never work. Tom, I'm gonna need you to stop crying right now. I know that you said you can't fight. I think more than the entire college cheating scandal, I'm intrigued by the fact that they've got prison consultants involved with this. And more power to them. I hope that, they are able to get some insightful information. I'm quite sure that these consulting firms can offer up insightful information. I could probably offer up a thing or two in a video. I'm quite sure there's some other prison YouTube channels that could do the same damn thing. But we're talking about tomatoes, and you're gonna be spending a whole lot of tomatoes for them consultants. Where all you gotta do on YouTube is just watch an ad. But I'm definitely way more intrigued by that part of the story than the entire story in general, because again, like I said at the beginning, who cares? To each their own, and if you can afford it, do you. But I want to offer up one final little tidbit to all of this. And that is, when you get involved with prison consulting, that is a very fine line that you navigate right there, especially when you're talking about federal prison consulting. Because, if you already had to worry about the feds as just an average Joe watching you, or maybe you're paranoid like I am and always think the feds are watching, running a federal prison consulting firm, you definitely better make sure you're washing your hands after using the restroom. Like crossing your I's and dotting your T's, that sort of thing. And if you do think that I'm being overtly paranoid saying that, like, hey, it's just a business like any other business, it's gonna have its own risks and rewards. You're paranoid, Joe. Well, if you are thinking that, I do want to share one final story with you. And this story, it's just really ironic. This just happened in January of this year, where there was one of these prison consulting firms here on the East Coast that just got busted for running their own little scandal and scheme themselves. Feds bust prison consulting firm. The prison consulting business has been plagued by gimmicks and false promises. Those are some strong words in the story right here. Now a federal indictment in Connecticut could blow the lid off a number of scammers that have taken advantage of defendants and their families. This particular prison consulting firm made a huge mistake. I guarantee this was a big part of their downfall. And that is that they guaranteed and promised that if clients hired them, they would earn 18 months off of their sentence. And I'm gonna be honest with you folks, I am definitely not the sharpest tack in the drawer. But I can all but guarantee you one thing when it comes to starting up or running or having a prison consulting business, and that is that you better never have no sort of guarantees and no promises anywhere in your mission statement or on your website. Hey, look, yeah, sure, you can hire me and I can definitely teach you the ropes. I can give you the prison politics before you even get there. Imagine if you knew what to expect before walking through those gates. 10,000, yeah, 10,000. You got the Cash App. I'm quite sure guaranteeing and promising anything in that field is something that you better never do. Now, this particular prison consulting firm in question, this one that's facing all of this trouble, they had a really unique way in which they went about trying to prepare people for going to court. And that was telling their clients to go and obtain fraudulent prescriptions for medications used to treat withdrawal symptoms. And basically what they go on to say is they want to portray you to be a drug addict and an alcoholic before you go to court. That way you can qualify for this federal drug program that, if I can remember from what I've been told, if you complete this drug program, that does get you some additional good time and time off of your sentence. I could be completely wrong about that. I don't honestly know, but that's what I've heard. So here's the deal. Thank you for hiring us, and I'm glad to see that $10,000 went through without a hitch. God, what am I gonna do with that money? Okay, look, here's what we're gonna do. Before trial begins, we need to get you strung out. Do you drink? Well, if you do, we're going to need you to drink a lot. And trust me, the story says right along these lines, telling their clients, go drink every single day, become an alcoholic. Oh yeah, that's a surefire way to win inside the courtroom. Your Honor, my client is drunk. You know, I'm really curious to see how this entire story with these parents is going to play out who are caught up in this crazy scandal. I'm hoping that whatever consulting that they're getting, you know, that does help them prepare for prison. But honestly, I hope that they don't end up going to prison. You know, when you think about privileged kids taking up seats inside of a classroom, I pretty much think of it the same way in terms of these parents. Them prison beds sure could be used for the juniors of somebody who definitely deserves to be there. Far worse people. But again, all of this is just my personal opinion. Whether you agree or disagree with the things that I've said in this video, comment down below and let me know. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. And don't forget to check out that After Prison Show consulting firm. Coming soon. We're gonna make all sorts of money. Why ain't I think of this before?